Welcome to the Generational Wealth Podcast. Y'all, today we're going to talk about the national debt. The debt in America is out of control. Y'all, if average people spent their money the way that this country spends their money and goes into debt, I don't know what this place would look like. America is now 30 plus trillion dollars in debt. I got to bring that back again. America is now 30 plus trillion dollars in debt. This is the highest amount in history, okay? This country, guys, is going broke. United States owes everybody. And in today, I want to talk about how this national debt impacts you and what you should do to get out of debt as quickly as possible, guys. So make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you join and get real comfortable because today I'm going in. And as always, I want to give a special shout out to everyone who is on the path of creating generational wealth as a part of the Generational Wealth Podcast. I want to give a special shout out to everybody who has already joined my free webinar on the 3 keys to financial freedom. Guys, if you want to know how to make more money, I'm giving you a free masterclass to show you how. I'm trying to show you guys how you can start creating passive income today. The goal is to start building new streams of income. I don't want you guys to always have to worry about trading time for money. Doesn't that get kind of tired? Don't you want to start getting in the game of people that are making money while they sleep, who don't have to worry about constantly working themselves into the ground just to be able to afford the bills? If you want to know how the wealthy people constantly create new streams of income and do it automatically, you need to make sure that you're a part of this webinar, because on that webinar, I'm going to show you guys how to stop relying on a fixed salary in order to look out for you and yours. If you guys want to create generational wealth and learn how, all you got to do is go to this link in the comments below. As always, it is totally free, guys. All you got to do is check it out. And shout out to Lupe. So good to see you on. Okay. It seems like some of y'all are getting used to this time. It sounds like some of you guys are now starting to get into the flow of things. Okay. So thank you so much for everybody that's tapping in with me. Really, really happy to have you on. Today, we're going to talk about how the U.S. has reached over $30 trillion in debt and how that impacts you personally. I know a lot of y'all are thinking, man, I don't care if the country is in debt. I only care if I'm in debt.
Nope.
Well, what this country does affects you. If you're living in the United States of America, the things that happens in this country is going to have a trickle down effect to you and your personal finances. And one of the things that I always try to do on this podcast is I always give you the opportunity to get in front of things before it comes. I don't want you guys to be like the masses of people who just sit back comfortably, wait for the train to come crashing down, and then you start crying about, oh my God, what happened? I try to give you enough time to get out in front of these issues now, so that way you can do something about it to protect you and your families. That's what generational wealth is all about. It's about thinking into the future and making the right decisions today. So if you guys want to be in on that 3 keys to financial freedom webinar, all you got to do is click that link below. Okay, I'm putting it on the screen right now so that way y'all could see it. Make sure that y'all click it in the comments section. We are going in, guys. Speaking about making money, Y'all know this podcast is dedicated to helping you guys level up. So, for any of my entrepreneurs out there that have a business that they want to share, feel free to come on this channel and I will give you guys free promotion. I am always here to promote your business, guys. So, whatever it is that you want to present, all you got to do is leave me a comment below and I will add you on so that way you can tell us all about what it is that you do and how you offer value to our community. And I want to see your business take off. Now, before we start, let me give a quick shout out to our special sponsors. Y'all know I could not do a stream without shouting out the sponsors and showing y'all some love. I want to give big shout out to my sister LA for Life, who at the very end of the last podcast gave a $20 sponsorship. Thank you so much, LA for Life. I promised you that I would shout you out. Always appreciate your labor of love on this channel, sis. Thank you for helping to keep this broadcast going. Y'all know I always got to acknowledge all of the other sponsors. Also, got to give a big shout out to TK Kitchen, Yasha Allah, LA for Life, Juice, Ariel, all of the people that support this broadcast from day to day. Guys, I always tell y'all, I could not do this show without your help. So if you want to see this show continue to stay on air, all you have to do is give a donation, a sponsorship. All you got to do is tap the dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Your super chat donation goes a really long way. I typically do this show 6 days a week, and I try to give you guys as much game as possible. If you guys love this broadcast and you want to see it on air, please make sure that you become a sponsor. Some of you guys are new to this channel and you're probably wondering what this is all about. My name is Uzziah, and in 2013, I paid off over $95,000 in student loan debt 2 years after graduating from Baylor University. I recently officially owned over $1 million worth of real estate. I'm also a real estate investor, and my job is just to give back to the community to show you how to do it. That's the reason why I always do these shows, guys. But in order for me to keep this show on air, I need the support of a few good people. Okay, so if you guys are on this show and you get a lot of value from it, please consider being a sponsor. And whoever makes the highest donation for today's broadcast will be the official sponsor of the show. Your name will be featured on this show, and I thank you so much for all of your support in advance. Also, y'all, please feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know who you are, where you're from, so that way I can give you a big shout out. Let's get into today's topic. The United States is loaded in debt. Guys, you have to know what is going on. I'm going to go ahead and get right into the article. I need y'all to see how this massive debt is causing so many problems. And if you're not careful, you could end up getting swept up in where this thing is going. It says U.S. national debt exceeds $30 trillion for the first time in history. I want y'all to see they got a national debt clock. Guys, this thing is serious. It says America's national debt has surpassed $30 trillion for the first time in history, the Treasury Department said this week. The federal government exceeded the troubling threshold following a wave of borrowing and spending during the pandemic. Now, guys, I've always been telling y'all, all of that stimulus money that America gave out is now backfiring. I always talked about how we needed to get prepared for inflation and how everything from the pandemic was going to impact our economy for years to come. One thing that I want you guys to notice, every time I'm showing you these different articles about the stock market crashing, about the national debt raising, inflation, all these different things, they always go back to how much money society printed off over the past 2 years. The economy is still recovering from how it was artificially pumped with over $6 trillion of newly printed money. And now we're feeling the effects of it. It says the federal government exceeded the troubling threshold following a wave of borrowing. See, guys, y'all thought y'all the only people that borrow money.
Nope.
The United States borrows money so much worse than most of us ever will. And that's the reason why one of the keys to generational wealth is being debt free. See, even though the country can get away with this, guys, us common folks, we can't get away with this type of stuff. We cannot go into debt the way that this country does as a whole, because if we did, we would be in the poorhouse. Somebody would be kicking in the door, trying to get their money. But because the United States is the United States, somehow they can get away with it. It says the national debt has expanded by approximately $7 trillion since January 2020. Guys, up $7 trillion in debt over the past 2 years. Weeks before the pandemic began, as the Trump and Biden administrations dispersed stimulus payments and took other measures to support the economy. Now, I will say, y'all, with everything that has happened over the past 2 years, the government has been doing what it felt it had to do, but it comes with consequences. It says the $30 trillion debt is equivalent to $231,000 per U.S. household and $90,000 per person. Do y'all know what's so scary about this? Even though the country is more in debt than that of the average person, when you look at the breakdown that it's showing, the average person is legit going into almost $100,000 in debt. Like the average adult in the United States of America is getting so loaded up with car notes, credit cards, mortgages, and so much more. The average person actually owes that much money. And this is a big part of the reason why the country is so overloaded in debt and spending right now. We just got a country of spenders, y'all. I'm going to talk more about this after I get past this article, but you got to understand, if the average person continues to order their finances the way that Congress is doing, you are not going to have any wealth to your name. This podcast is about creating generational wealth, making sure that you have enough money to protect your family right now and for years to come. And you got to understand the do's and don'ts on your personal finances. It says the $30 trillion debt is equivalent to $231,000 per U.S. household and $90,000 per person, according to the Peter G. Peterson Foundation. If every U.S. household paid $1,000 per month toward covering the debt, it would take 19 years to pay down the sum. Y'all, I think we just gonna let America stay in debt. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not paying $1,000 every month for the next 19 years to get America out of debt. I already got enough problems of my own. I wish I had such crazy money just so I could throw $1,000 out the window for somebody else's debt. At the end of the day, y'all, I ain't got it like that. I own over $1 million worth of real estate. And I'm telling y'all right now, I don't have $1,000 per month to go towards covering the United States bills. Inflation is so high in America, we can barely get by from one day to the next. It's like you got to be paid just to afford your cost of living. So, guys, this is the reason why this country is in the position that it's in. We all want to live the American dream and have the big house and the nice white picket fence. But this is the stuff that gets people in debt. It said if America wanted to get out of its debt, every U.S. household would have to pay $1,000 a month for the next 19 years. Man, ain't nobody doing that.
Nope.
Ain't nobody got time for that. That is not happening. So what happens? America continues to print off more and more money, which only makes the value of the dollar that much weaker. And you wonder why people are going towards cryptocurrency. It says the staggering figure includes intragovernmental debt or money the federal government owes to itself, such as through Social Security trust funds. It also includes debt held by public entities such as businesses, pension plans, and insurance companies. Now, I'm going to take some time to talk about that, y'all. This is the reason why by the time a lot of us get to retirement age, ain't going to be no Social Security around. You are not going to be living off of Social Security if you're in your 20s and 30s right now thinking that's going to be around by the time you hit 65.
Nope.
You got another thing coming. The United States is already over $30 trillion in debt, and there has to come a point where the country puts an end to this. Guys, things are only getting more expensive by the day. Do you really think that the country is going to be able to still afford paying off that many people's retirement? This is the reason why you creating generational wealth is a must. This is not a luxury, because by the time that you get to retirement age, there may not be all of these government handouts to help you. And yes, I know, even if you've put money from your paycheck towards Social Security, that does not mean that the Social Security is going to be there when you retire. All that means is America can take your money and run. So, guys, when I do these broadcasts and I'm giving you the step-by-step rundown on how to build wealth for you and your families, the wealth is not for you to be Daddy Warbucks. The wealth is just for you to be able to sustain yourself for the rest of your life. Y'all see gas is getting up to $5 a gallon. You gotta have money just to survive. So it talks about Social Security trust funds. It also includes debt. Debt. The U.S. is in debt. Debt held by public entities such as businesses. Because y'all know there was a lot of money that was given out to businesses for all of those PPP loans. This is the reason why America's not playing now in regathering that money. America is trying to repo a lot of that money that it gave out to folks. And this is the reason why folks are going to jail if they took that money and they put it in the wrong place. America's tired of just giving a lot of folks free money. Look at how it's getting the country loaded in debt. Look what it says below this. It says more than $7.7 trillion is owed to foreign creditors, with Japan, China, and the UK topping the list. So as the United States owes all of these countries, y'all don't think that's going to play a part in these different countries actually trying to get ahead of the American economy? Y'all know China's trying to run the world. So if the United States keeps borrowing and borrowing, it's only going to make the US dollar that much weaker. And guys, it could get to a point where if Congress doesn't fix this issue fast, the next crisis that comes to this country, there may not be another bailout. There may not be another $6 trillion that America is willing to print out just to make sure that everybody keeps a roof over their head. Guys, I've been trying to warn y'all in all of these different broadcasts. I don't know how many different articles I got to pull up from these different sources to show you guys that if you don't have your money together in 2022, you could be in for some hard times to come. Notice it says it also includes debt held by public entities such as businesses, pension plans, and insurance companies. Now, here's something that I want y'all to think about. A lot of y'all may not be able to imagine a world where there's no Social Security, but I want you to think about how many pension plans are you guys a part of? Leave me that in the comments section. I'm going to do a quick stop, give you a minute to think about this. Let me know how this affects your wealth. How many of you guys right now have access to a pension that you're going to be able to live off of during your retirement? If you're anything like me, the answer is
Nope.
you don't have no damn pension. America is in all of this debt, but it's back behind a pension that you don't own. That money is not coming to you. Now, they might be going to your granddaddy and your grandmama, but see, the problem is America stopped giving out so many pensions because it went into too much debt to start them in the first place. It sounded like a really good idea to help everybody as they were retiring, but somebody had to pay the bill. There's been a lot of companies that have gone bankrupt all because of the pensions that they owed their workers. This is the reason why the average company no longer offers this, but yet you will see the United States debt constantly rising, all in the name of programs that are no longer going to be available by the time we get to retirement age. That's the reason why we have to be a lot more self-sufficient. Your grandma and granddad might have had access to a pension and a Social Security, but by the time that you get to their age, you might not be so lucky. And y'all know what's so crazy? The life expectancy is getting longer. Studies show that the average person will actually live now on average to 85 to 90 years old. So the question is, if by the time that you get 80 and there's no Social Security, there's
Nope.
no pension programs around, how are you going to keep a roof over your head? What steps are you guys taking right now to make sure that you and your family are secured for the next decade to come? This is the reason why this podcast exists, guys. There's so many people that are so busy just focused on the day and the moment that they don't realize what's to come. And you guys got to share these broadcasts and these videos. So y'all got to warn people, because this is the time right now where you do the saving and investing to protect your future. If you haven't yet done so, guys, make sure that y'all smash that like button, okay? Today, I'm showing you guys how the United States owes over $30 trillion in debt, and how that affects every last one of us as the debt continues to rise. If the average person had the same amount of debt as the United States broken down by household, there would be over $200,000 of debt per family, 90,000 plus per person. We've got to get our finances in order. Okay. So now let's go back to this article, guys. Okay. My job is to take all of this content and break it down so all of you know what this is saying. This is saying there's debt amongst businesses, pension plans, and insurance companies. More than $7.7 trillion is owed to foreign creditors, with Japan, China, and the UK topping the list. These are countries, they spending money like companies. These are all countries that have borrowed money to the United States. It says the U.S. government exceeded the $30 trillion threshold much faster than expected. Guys, we're spending more money than we predicted. In 2020, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office predicted it would not occur until 2025. I want you guys to think about this. We are already years ahead of our spending. I'm saying the United States thought that it wasn't going to get 30 trillion in the debt until 3 years later. But it's happening right now at the beginning of 2022. And guys, this is why inflation is getting out of control. This is the reason why there's so many changes that are happening in the economy. It's because spending is out of this world and there must be something done about it. See, there's the reason why I always tell these companies, y'all got to just let me write these articles. Because no sooner than I said this, what did it say right up under this photo? It says Wall Street has been eyeing whether the ballooning U.S. debt could cause inflation to spiral out of control. It's all connected. It says Michael A. Peterson, CEO of the Peter G. Peterson Foundation, an organization dedicated to fiscal responsibility, described the $30 trillion milestone as a giant red flag for all of us about America's future economic health, generational equity, and role in the world. Guys, I don't think y'all are seeing what this is saying. You've got top CEOs coming on record sounding the alarm to say, we've got to stop this. It says, Michael A. Peterson, CEO of the Peter G. Peterson Foundation. Okay, this is rich folks' money. An organization dedicated to fiscal responsibility. The entire job of this organization is to tell you how the money is going. Describe the $30 trillion milestone as a giant red flag for all of us about America's future economic health, generational equity, and role in the world. Now, why would I bring this up during this podcast? Because this podcast is about generational wealth. This is the generational podcast, in case y'all don't know. I know a lot of y'all are still used to me having this show called the Uzziah Show. But since couldn't one of y'all say my name, I had to change the show title from my name to the Generational Wealth Podcast. So that way we can make this thing simple and plain. The CEOs are telling you guys that generational wealth is being threatened due to the massive debt that's in the economy. Because, guys, in order to satisfy the debt, where's the money going to come from to pay it off? Oh, that's right. America's going to be looking to taxing you to settle all these debt payments. Y'all didn't think about that, huh? Y'all didn't think about how your children and your children's children could be possibly facing bigger taxes and more payments, all because of the amount of debt that's being racked up today. Guys, there are so many organizations in this country that tell us that the way that we have lived our life over the past decade is going to impact our kids for years to come. They even tell you all this about the environment. With all of the gas and the fossil fuels that's been burned up, this is the reason why America now is trying to get everybody on electric cars. It's because of all of the damage that's been done in the ozone layer, whether you're talking about the environmental health, the economic health. There's so many different areas of life that's been damaged because we are hyper consumers. We are so busy pissing society away that it's like we're not even thinking about generations to come. And that's the reason why we've had our grandmothers and grandfathers be like, oh, you millennials, y'all are so lazy. Y'all, none of y'all want to work. But y'all didn't have $80,000-$90,000 in student loans like we had just to go to school. This is the reason why we are inheriting these problems, because as one generation passes to the next, there's no forward thinking. There's no long-term planning. We consume, and then just let future generations of people take on all of the problems from yesterday. That's why Michael A. Patterson described the $30 trillion milestone of America's debt as a giant red flag for all of us about America's future economic health. This is the reason why I talked about that super crash that's on the way. Generational equity. I've been warning you guys, this society is shifting to the haves and the have-nots. You've either got it or you don't. Ain't about to be no middle class that much longer. Y'all, I saw this meme, man. I wish I would have put it on this broadcast now that I'm thinking about it. I saw this meme on social media recently that said, like a shoe salesman in 1986 could have had this big house. And the meme was a photo of Al Bundy's house in Married with Children. That dude sat on his behind half the day, worked a super basic job as a shoe salesman at the store, and he was able to afford a house that provided for his wife and all of his kids. Nobody's doing that now in 2022. You got to have 2, 3, 4, 5 different streams of income just to be able to have a basic cost of living. And this is the reason why this guy is saying this in this article. So if you don't know how to create generational wealth, you're going to be in trouble. If you don't start having multiple streams of income, it's going to be that much harder to protect your family. It says our high and rising debt makes us less prepared for the next pandemic. It's warning you guys. Y'all see all these different variants popping up. Why do you think they're saying this? Our high and rising debt makes us less prepared for the next pandemic. Why? Because there's nothing to save. Everything is being spent. You're just trying to make it from one day to the next. Less secure against future adversaries, less resilient to the changing climate, and less able to build the strong and inclusive economy that we all want for the next generation. Ain't about to be no strong and inclusive economy. That's out. This being a place where everybody can have a house, that's out. Y'all see how there's so many articles about how millennials are being pushed out of the housing market. They're not able to become homeowners. And I'm going to put this on another broadcast. Because there's such a growing number of millennials that cannot buy a home, that's actually raising the rates for rent. This is the reason why when you go through these major cities now, you got to pay an arm and a leg just to get a 1-bedroom apartment. This economy is not going to be inclusive for everybody. Guys, there's always a cause and an effect. Whenever the pandemic happened, the money that was spent to give out all of that stimulus coverage is coming back now in the form of inflation. The Federal Reserve is going to start raising the interest rates to try to get a handle on things, but it's going to come with problems. That's the reason why I'm doing this broadcast, because I'm trying to cushion you guys from some of those problems happening to you. It says, less able to build the strong and inclusive economy that we all want for the next generation. The national debt is a subject of fierce debate on Capitol Hill. Republicans and some Democrats have argued for months that President Biden's $2 trillion social and climate spending bill, the Build Back Better Act, will cause the national debt to balloon even larger, crippling the country over the long term. So Biden right now has policies that he wants to see rolled out that's going to cost $2 trillion and more. This is the reason why Biden ain't been able to get rid of all of y'all student loan debt. This is the reason why y'all been begging him, Biden, please pay off my bills. But he's not able to bail out everybody because the debt is already through the roof. And that's the reason why y'all see Congress fighting each other right now, because it cannot afford where this country is going. It says last year, Republicans blocked efforts to lift the debt ceiling for months, citing concerns that raising the federal borrowing limit would facilitate additional government spending the country could ill afford. Congress eventually reached an agreement to raise the debt ceiling by $2.5 trillion, an amount that's expected to cover obligations through 2023. Now, guys, for those of y'all that don't know, this always happens. America always spends money like crazy. Then it votes to raise the debt ceiling so that the country doesn't default on its loans. Now, the country has yet to default, and we don't know if that's ever going to happen. But what always happens is America finds itself having problems with money, and it just prints more of it. And this is the reason why inflation is getting so high. And this is the reason why there are so many people that are looking to other forms of digital currency, because the value of the US dollar has gotten weaker. Okay. The dollar is not what it used to be. And this is why it's so important for us to be educated as investors and start putting our money in other places. Now, Lupe says, Lord's will, my children, their children, and their children's children will be taken care of, since I'm putting in the work now. Hey, that's the way to do it. This is the reason why I'm always telling you guys about the importance of budgeting your money, saving, investing, and getting out of debt. This is the reason why I'm constantly telling you guys to diversify your investing, because if the market goes down in any one area, you still have an opportunity for growth in other places. If you guys ain't investing your money right now, you're already hurting. because the economy is only getting that much more expensive. So rather than you getting left behind, which I talked about in yesterday's broadcast, you guys need to start investing your money in assets that appreciates in value. This is going to be the only way to survive within the next few years, guys. I know a lot of y'all still don't see it. You're thinking, oh man, as long as you can go and work at a job, it's going to be all good. But I'm just warning you guys, as the economy gets that much more expensive, it's only going to be the haves and the have-nots. That's the reason why billionaire investor Ray Dalio predicted a civil war to pop off within the next 3 to 5 years, all because it's going to get to the point where the average person cannot afford basic living. And as more and more people go without, there's going to be uproar. And I'm trying to warn you guys now so you can get yourselves well prepared. Okay. Lupe also said, yeah, with Al Bundy, Peggy ate bonbons and watched TV all day. Nah, not no more. Peggy might have been able to do that in the 1980s, but right now, all them Peggies, they having to get 2, 3, 4 jobs. Even if their husband got jobs, we now need to have multiple streams of income in order to survive. Y'all ain't about to be out here having all these kids and just thinking that you're going to make it off of one basic income. If y'all still got guys that's able to provide for the entire house, it's going to have to be 6 figures and up. I'm just warning y'all, unless y'all about to be living out of some hut somewhere, not hardly having that many expenses, you guys are going to have to get your money up. This is just a thing. And a lot of y'all don't want to hear this because, oh man, why you keep talking about money? You saying everybody got to be rich. I'm just telling you what is happening in the world. This is not for you to be Daddy Warbucks. This is just so that way you have enough money to be able to put your kids through college, to be able to keep a roof over your head, and in order to be able to furnish a lifestyle for you and your family. Okay, guys? Because a lot of these different government handouts are going away. So if you guys are so accustomed to having those things, you might be in for a hard time. Ariel says this is just nuts. Why would he be looking to spend even more if the US is so far in the debt? Is because there's so many promises that the president has made to improve the country. Now, of course, everybody votes in a president that gives all of these grand promises. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to give that. I'm going to get more people jobs. You know, there's all of these people right now that are struggling as is. And so there's been all of these promises, and that requires money. But it's got to get to a point where there is a handle on this stuff, guys. Babolico says, put more of your money in homes, but someone says that's not a good idea because homes will go down. Well, here's the problem. Everything is going to go down. This is the way of the world. The market goes up and the market goes down. You put your money in the stock market, stocks go up and stocks go down. You put your money in the housing market goes up and the housing market goes down. But if you don't have your money in anything, you lost. If you guys don't have nothing but paper cash, you're really going to be done, because the US dollar already lost 7% of its buying power over the past year. So you got to have your money in something, guys. You can't just sit back and hope that all this stuff is just magically going to figure itself out on its own. You got to start taking action. And what I need y'all to do right now to take some action on this broadcast is to smash that like button and please donate to keep this show on air. Okay, if y'all get a lot of value from these broadcasts, if you feel that it's very informative, that it's putting you up on game so that you could be that much better of an investor, please do your brother a favor and tap that dollar icon directly below. Okay. I'm not telling y'all to take out rent money to donate, but please, y'all, donate something. Give your boy a free will offering. One thing that I want to point out here, even if you're watching this broadcast after the live stream is over, you can still donate. All you got to do is click the links in the description below. Okay. You could donate through Cash App and you could donate through PayPal. And I want to give a big shout out to the brother from Spain, my brother, Mr. Momentum, that gave a $5 sponsorship for the very first time. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you, man. For those of y'all that want to keep seeing this broadcast online, please make sure that you donate. Shout out to my brother Roy, Lyric and the Israelite. He said, do you think that the government will do away with the welfare system? I don't think that the government will do away with it. I think that it's going to be more regulated over time. I think that the government is going to be forced to be a lot more conscious of who it gives money to and on what terms. Otherwise, the spending is just going to continue to get out of whack. Y'all see how this happened out in China. I think China, they went through some policy where they put a limit on how many kids people could have. And that started to give them problems. But there are drastic measures that China took to try to get their economy restored. I think right now, America's still promising everybody pie in the sky. Like how Tia said, promises mean nothing. And they're giving out all these promises. And there's still so many people that's hurting. But even when you throw money at it, it still does not fix everything, guys. I did a broadcast last year where I told you guys that money doesn't fix every problem. A lot of people didn't like that, but I'm just keeping it a buck, okay? America can spend all the money in the world, but we as American citizens have to learn how to have better financial responsibility. We have to learn financial literacy. We have to learn how to improve our finances so that we can do more to protect ourselves, okay? All of these different government programs is a part of the reason why the economy is facing the problems that it is having today. And you know one thing about it, guys? Who knows how high the tax rate is going to be by the time your children become adults? Who knows how much money you guys are going to end up paying over time, just as a way of having to pay back all of the programs that are in existence today. You know, all of us fall on hard times and we all need help. But guys, we got to start to learn self-sufficiency. And I want to give a big shout out to Babo Lico for starting us off with the $5 sponsorship. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Okay, today we're talking about how U.S. debt reaches an all-time high, how this impacts you and your family. Babaliko says, one love, my brother. Thank you for helping. Hey, thank you for your support, man. Thank you for helping me to help you. I could not do this broadcast without y'all support. So thank you so much for y'all super chats and y'all's donations. It really means a lot, guys. Okay. So for any of y'all that are looking to be a sponsor of this channel, please feel free to do so. All you got to do is give a super chat. Just tap that dollar icon directly below. Okay. Now let's get into more points from this broadcast, guys. And as always, I'm going to open up the link because I'm going to open up the panel. I want to see what y'all's thoughts are on the U.S. getting into debt. I want to get y'all's commentary. Okay, so make sure that y'all have y'all's cameras ready because we are going to talk about this. Now, as I said before, there are so many consequences to that $6 trillion in stimulus money that was printed out. There were so many people that lost their jobs. America did what it felt it had to do. Okay. We are where we are, but this is the reason why there's going to be challenging years to come. If you guys have been on this broadcast for any length of time, I've told you guys that between now to the year 2025, there is going to be some kind of real crisis that's going to pop off. All of the signs are pointing to it, guys. All you have to do is look. Stock market going down. There's just been this big news as of yesterday on how Facebook, also known as Meta, did not reach its expected earnings. Meta is one of the top companies in the world. There's talking about a stock market collapse. The housing market has been crazy over the past year. There's a lot of corrections that are coming. If you guys had your money in crypto, y'all already know that's been going down. Man, ain't nobody been talking about crypto nothing in months, okay? The best thing for y'all to do right now is to buy the dip. And on yesterday's broadcast, I was telling you guys about how there were a lot of people who came up off of having their money in the stock market once the pandemic happened in 2020. And they kept their money there. They didn't sell everything off. And those investments grew over the past 2 years. Guys, you got to start getting in this game. I keep telling you guys about how there's so many economic problems that are coming, but the way that you create generational wealth in this market is not by tucking your tail and getting worried. The way that you dominate is by understanding all of the advantages for you positioning your finances in the right place during economic turmoil. What I mean is, if the stock market does collapse, that's the best time to buy. You will have access to buying all of these different investments and funds that you may have never been able to afford. Amazon will be on sale. Tesla will be on sale. Microsoft, Apple, all these different companies will be on sale. The question is, will you be wise enough to have your money ready if that happens? You guys need to already have that money invested. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. This is how you create generational wealth. But guys, y'all saw America printed off a ton of money trying to help businesses with all of that PPP loans. And a lot of people was taking that PPP money and they was putting that PPP in places it didn't need to be. That's why you see folks getting locked up. Listen, man, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I felt like I should have took some money from the government when the pandemic popped off, man. Here it was, I'm being dumb. I didn't take out a dollar from the government when the pandemic hit. And I could have did it for my business. I could have got relief money, stimulus money, all kind of money. But I said, nah, man, I'm going to just keep it rolling. I'm going to just keep running my business as always, getting on these broadcasts, asking y'all to give a super chat. Shout out to my brother, Lyra Texan. He said that he just sent the Cash App. Let me go ahead and check that out. Yes, the brother sure did, man. He is a man of his word. Shout out to my brother, Roy, Lyra Texan, the Israelite. Thank you so much, King, for that $10 Cash App donation. It is greatly appreciated. When my phone and my internet stops moving so slow, I'm going to put it on the screen. Thank you so much for that $10 sponsorship. Really appreciate you, my brother. Okay. So for all of y'all that are on today, we're talking about how the U.S. reaches an all-time high in national debt. Over $30 trillion in debt, guys. $30 trillion freaking dollars. Some of y'all are $30,000 in debt and you don't know what to do. Some of y'all are $300 in debt and you don't know what to do. So imagine if you spend your money the way that this country does, the U.S. would not be checking for you. You would be so hard up. You would need help left and right, guys. So now is the time for us to get our money together because there may be harder times on the way. Okay. Now, like I said before, with all of the money that's been printed out in this economy, inflation is up by 7% over the past year. Do not be surprised if we're having to make up for this debt by having to pay more taxes. See, guys, taxes back in the day used to be high as hell. At one point in time in American history, the wealthiest people would have been taxed up to 94%. That's the reason why the 1% knew how to master the tax game. Because with the economy asking for so much money in paying taxes, they was like, man, to hell with this. I'm gonna give up all of my money paying taxes. Nah, bump that. I'm gonna figure out how to be able to make this money without having to pay Uncle Sam.
Nope.
And that's the reason why the top 1% knows how to be able to save their money through a 401k. That's how the top 1% knows how to save their money through an IRA, through other forms of life insurance, through real estate, and so much more. This is the reason why 2/3 of all millionaires are business owners, not because people like owning companies. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's because of the tax breaks that we get as business owners. Guys, this is the reason I'm trying to show y'all how to create generational wealth. If you guys were on my broadcast yesterday, I went over how the 9 to 5 system actually is the most taxable form of income that's out, but they never teach us this in school. A lot of us have never been taught this growing up by our family members or our friends. And that's the reason why I do this show today. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of us had to repay a lot of this debt through the tax system, okay? Because the taxes used to be a lot worse. And you never know, depending upon who's put in office, they could decide to continue to put taxes on the people. And also, guys, we gotta recognize that this country in general has a problem with overspending. Man, I don't know where y'all are, but in Texas, the way that we just view things is just so crazy. Okay, I'm at a fast food restaurant, right? I'm asking for a medium drink. The damn medium drink is is this big, loaded up with all this nonsense. And I'm like, yo, if this is the medium, what does the large look like? The way that we consume things is absolutely crazy. And everybody thinks this is tied to having fun, having a good time. You all know that they say everything is bigger in Texas. But the problem is, guys, when we try to do it big in everything that we do, it takes this hyper consumerism and capitalism just out of control. This is the reason why the economy is so deep into debt. And there's got to be somebody who's going to have to cover the bill. Now, here's the thing. Here's the question that I always wonder. If America has so many problems being in debt as a country, how do they think that the average person is ever going to be debt free? If Congress themselves, I'm saying these are folks, college educated, 6-figure jobs. If these folks themselves can't balance the budget, what makes you think that the average person in America is actually going to have financial freedom? This country is not designed for the average person to have wealth. This country does make it possible for some people to build wealth from nothing, but that's not going to be everybody, guys. This country is designed for the average person to be in massive amounts of debt. And all you got to do is look at the country and how it runs. If the country itself is $30 trillion in debt, what do you think is a design for the average person? Society wants you broke. Society wants you in debt. Society wants you always buying the latest car, the latest house, the latest phone that you can't afford. I don't even know what's the latest iPhone right now. 13, 14? Here it is. You just bought a 14 yesterday, and now you're already putting the iPhone 15 on pre-order. When you are constantly buying, you are never putting yourself in a position to preserve wealth. You creating generational wealth is all about being a producer and not a consumer. And guys, see, this is the reason why even things like this show, most people don't understand this, right? The reason why I keep talking about, hey, donate, super chat, is so that you actually have vehicles where you're investing in the things that come back to you, whether it's reinvesting in your knowledge, whether it's you investing in an investment account like a 401k, like an IRA, like real estate, whatever the case may be. But if you're taking your money and you're putting it towards things that's giving you no return whatsoever, it's not making you smarter, it's not making you richer, it is not improving your family, well, guess what? That's you now buying into the American dream. And that's the reason why this country is so loaded in debt, just like the average person. So the only way that we're going to be on the right side of this thing is for us to start getting out of debt as quickly as we can. I always tell you guys, make sure you have at least $1,000 in your savings account, because that'll make sure that in the time of an emergency, you've got a little bit of money to bail you out on hard times. If you have no money at all in emergency fund, guys, as soon as you get into a jam, you're just going to go deeper into debt. And speaking of which, guys, I'm going to give y'all another article that talks about how bad and destructive debt is. But before I do that, let me say this. I hope y'all are ready to talk about this. I hope y'all are ready to get on this panel. I'm going to get on to a point where I'm going to be tired of talking, and I want to hear what y'all's thoughts are on this. Here's the question that I have for y'all. If another big crisis comes to this country, what's going to happen if America doesn't pay for it? What is going to happen to those of you who don't have any money set aside if another major crisis were to happen and there is no government bailout? Guys, look at what happened during the time of Hurricane Katrina. Look at how neglected people were during that time. That's not the only time. We've witnessed situations where people have went on hard times and they felt like they were not getting a lot of support. My question is, if the U.S. is already over $30 trillion in debt, what happens the moment where Congress decides, you know what? Well, we can't just keep spending money like this. We're going to have to cut back on all of this. We're going to have to get this thing in order. You know what? If something happens, man, the hell with it. People are going to have to struggle. They're going to have to get it on their own. If they wasn't saving their money, then that's on them. What is going to happen? Guys, these are all things that I want you to consider. The United States is competing with other countries to be the top superpower. If America keeps having to do all this bailout stuff, China's going to get in front of them. So it might get to a point where America says, yo, some people might just have to take a L. This is the reason why, even amongst all of the stimulus money that was printed out, that's the reason why now they're cutting back. Because y'all know y'all probably got a certain family member or a certain friend that was making the most of them stimulus checks, especially during the times of the unemployment where folks weren't trying to go back to work because they were milking the money. They were taking in all of those checks, guys. But guess what? There may come a point where America might not be so friendly. And in that day, you might not want to rely on the kindness of strangers. Guys, if y'all don't take nothing else away from this particular podcast, I want you guys to start positioning yourself to where you no longer have to rely on the kindness of strangers. If anything were to go down, you already have yourself sustained so well that you can pull into your own reserves to bail you and your family out. Okay. Warren Buffett keeps billions of dollars in his bank account for that very reason. He keeps so much money in the bank because he doesn't want to have to go and beg anybody to get kindness. I want you guys to consider what's going to happen to you if for the next real big disaster, there is no $6 trillion that's printed out because America is trying to restabilize the economy. Just something to consider. Think about it before it happens, okay? And again, we talked about why people are riding that crypto wagon. So if you haven't yet done so, you may want to have just a little bit of money diversified there. I'm not telling you to have big money invested in crypto. What I am saying is that if the US dollar continues to go where it's going, you may want to start considering other forms of currency, okay? Because this is the reason why it's becoming stronger and more appealing. Future generations are going to feel the effect. We can't rely on Social Security once we get to retirement age. And now I'm going to show you guys this one last article, and then we're going to get into this panel discussion, okay? I'm going to show you guys all of the reasons why debt is such a bad thing, okay? And I want you to all understand that the key to building wealth is getting out of debt as quickly as you can. If you don't owe anybody, it becomes that much easier to build wealth. Okay, let's get into this article. Lyra Texan says people who depend on welfare get sacrificed first. Now, you know one thing I do got to say on this, Lyra Texan, I do got to say it. If I'm keeping it a buck, a lot of people who got hit the hardest in 2020 weren't the people that were on welfare. It was the middle class Americans who got their jobs taken right from up under them. I'm telling you guys, this society is not built for the middle class to make it. The government is still giving out handouts, okay, for those who are lower class and on poverty. But a lot of the middle class doesn't have access to those same handouts. So you might be working at a job right now that's able to get you by and you're living paycheck to paycheck, but let something else happen. And then you're going to end up being the first one on that chopping block. This is the reason why we always talk about raising your income. This is the reason why we always talk about you guys investing now. So that way, when the middle class is cut, you're already on the side of the haves rather than the have-nots. It's either going to be one or the other, guys. Just watch. It's coming. Okay, now I'm going to share with y'all this article real quick. Check this out. It says 9 reasons debt is bad for you. It says a little debt won't hurt, will it? That's how it starts. Facts. You make a small purchase on your credit card, and then before you know it, you're $1,000 in debt. Now, let me say this real quick about credit cards. For those of you guys that don't know how to use your credit card responsibly, don't have a credit card to begin with. Credit cards can get you in a world of trouble. Some of y'all think that you got to have all these credit cards just so that way you can start to build your credit. And then you end up buying some random stuff on a credit card. Now you go $50 in debt, then $100 in debt. And before you know it, you try to make these minimum payments, and the minimum payments are designed so that you never pay it off. A lot of you guys are taking out these credit cards with 20% interest rates or higher. If you don't have the ability to pay off your credit cards in full every month, do not take it out. That alone could be one of the biggest blocks to stop you from building wealth. It says you make a small purchase on your credit card, and then before you know it, you're thousands of dollars in debt. But what exactly is wrong with having a little or a lot of debt? To start with, here are 9 problems debt can cause in your life, okay? So these are 9 reasons, guys. You don't need to do like America. You don't need to run yourself trillions of dollars into debt just to furnish a lifestyle. The first reason why you don't need to run into debt is because debt encourages you to spend more than you can afford. The article says there's something about the debt that tempts you to keep spending even when you can't afford the payment. Look at it with this person with all these bags splurging. It says part of the allure of debt is the fact that you can get the emotional high from getting new things now without having to deal with the immediate pain of parting with money. It can feel like you're getting something for nothing, but eventually that spending will catch up with you and it won't feel so good then. This is the reason why I tell you guys that credit cards are the devil. Unless you know how to use them responsibly in a way where you can make more money from it and improve your credit score, a lot of you guys ain't got no business swiping a card. A lot of you guys could build generational wealth just by paying for things in cash, because you parting ways with that hard-earned money, that will make you a lot more of a conscious spender. Okay. The second reason why debt sucks is because debt costs money. It says debt feels free when you're swiping your card or signing loan documents, but this is an illusion. In general, you pay a price for the debt you create. That price comes in the form of interest. The higher the interest rate, the more you'll end up paying for your debt. Also, the longer it takes you to pay off and the higher your debt load, the more interest you'll pay. Guys, that's a big killer right there as well. Not only are we having to pay a lot of money for things because of inflation, you're going to pay so much more than whatever the price is right now in all of the money that you're having to put up on interest over time. Guys, when you take out a car note, that car note comes with interest. When you take out a credit card, maybe you get it at a 0% for 6 months, but after that, the interest kicks in. Okay. All of these things cost money. Also, number 3, debt borrows from your future income. Now, see, this is the big reason why a lot of y'all can't ball out and relax like you want to today. When I say ball out, I'm saying you getting rid of your 9-to-5 job. Remember, guys, I stayed in corporate America until I was 26 years old. I didn't retire from corporate America until I was 26 because I was debt free by 23. So I gave myself a few years' time to start investing in real estate that gave me the passive income to start making money without having to work. My favorite form of income is in passive investments that allows me to make money when I sleep. Guys, The reason I invest in real estate and I own my own online business is because it allows me to make money when I'm not working. I don't always want to trade time for money. So even when it comes to me doing these shows, there will be plenty of times that I might have somebody get one of my programs and I might not be working at all. Somebody might book a consultation. Somebody might get into one of my programs like Breakthrough Year that I always tell you guys about. You got to start building passive streams of income that allows you to create income even when you are not punching the clock. If the only way that you make money is by constantly trading your time for money, there's no way that you can ever create generational wealth. All you need to do is take the money that you get from working that 9 to 5 job, trading your time to money, and start putting it into assets that will make money for you on autopilot. The goal is to make your money work for you so you don't have to. It says debt borrows from your future income. Anytime you take out a loan or charge something on your credit card, you're borrowing from the money you hope to earn in the future. Do you want to spend your money paying for something you've already used up and don't get much value from anymore? You never know what changes may happen in your income, so it's better not to mortgage your future. That's what so many people are doing. You want to buy these Jordans now using a credit card, and that means you're going to have to work at that job just a little bit longer, even though you said you can't stand the boss. If you guys want to stop getting out of these jobs that you hate, you got to start cutting your debt off as quickly as you can. That will help to put you in a position where you can live off of your passive income. See, this is the reason why so many people are getting into what's called the FIRE movement. Financial independence, retire early. What a lot of young folks are doing now is they're getting out of their 9 to 5 jobs, paying off their debts, and just putting a certain amount of money into the stock market where they will just live off of the dividends and live a very basic life. Now, that ain't for everybody, but you got people that's going out there and getting them a little RV and just living off the grid, man, not having to worry about spending that much money. And listen, I'm going to tell y'all, it's going to get me to a point in my life, man. I'm going to say to hell with the hustle. I'm just going to keep these properties, rent them out, make money from it. And then that money on top of the money that I already make from my business passively, I'm just going to have that pay for my expenses from month to month, and I can just chill. That's the way that you want to do it, guys, especially if we know that Social Security is not going to be around at a retirement age. You guys want to start creating different income streams now, so that way, when you get a little bit older and you don't want to work, you've already got passive streams of income that make money for you. But just know, the more you take out debt, the longer you're going to have to work. The fourth reason why debt is bad for you is because high interest debt causes you to pay more than the item costs. We already talked about that. Okay, so I'm not going to beat the dead horse. All it says here is if you buy a $2,000 living room set on your credit card at 11% and only make the minimum payment, you'll end up paying more than $3,600 by the time you completely pay off the debt. That's $1,600 more than the furniture costs. I'm telling you guys, that's how they get you. That is how they get you. The fifth reason that debt sucks is because debt keeps you from reaching your financial goals. This is arguably the worst out of all of them. It says monthly debt payments limit the amount of money you have to spend on other things, not just retirement, but the trip you always wanted to take. Talking about, for you guys that do all these different events and buy things for your family. It says the more debt you accumulate, the more your monthly payments will be and the less you have to spend on everything else. This is honestly a big part of the reason why so many adults end up getting so stressed out at the beginning of January and on December the 25th, because you spend all this money trying to buy all these gifts and then you can't afford it. That's why all these holidays, guys, it's just about a bunch of mass consumerism. Y'all be out there buying all these different gifts and all these different things, and it's to keep y'all in a poorhouse. Listen, man, do me a favor for y'all, those of y'all that are on, make sure that you smash that like button. We're talking about the United States national debt being at an all-time high, how that affects you and your pockets, okay? The US is constantly getting themselves deeper into debt, and somebody's going to have to pay. It says debt can keep you from owning a home. This is going to be very big, y'all, because one of the things that the mortgages talk about is the debt to income ratio. If you guys want to buy a home, but you got more debt than you can handle, you won't be able to qualify to be able to get a house because you are already loaded in liabilities. It says debt can lead to stress and serious medical problems. Debt can hurt your marriage. Debt hurts your credit score. Guys, the name of the game is getting out of debt. So if you got credit cards, pay them off. You got student loans, get rid of them. Now is the time for you guys to start getting out of debt so you can get serious about creating generational wealth. And shout out to my sister, LA for life. Okay. I gave you a shout out a little bit earlier. Shout out to my sis, LA for life, for that $20 sponsorship last broadcast. I really appreciate that, sis. Listen, man, I'm going to open up this panel for y'all. I'm going to open up this panel. Okay? Make sure that you click the link below, okay? I've already given my monologue. I done already told y'all about how things are getting so crazy. But now I want you guys to join the panel. Let me know your thoughts. What is your take on the U.S. debt reaching an all-time high? How is this going to impact you and your family for years to come? And what steps are you guys going to take to create generational wealth? Okay. Inquiring minds want to know. Stop being so quiet. Get on this camera, click the link. I want to be able to know your thoughts. All right. LA for life, man. This is one of the problems with me doing the show during the daytime now, because now we're missing out on Yasha Allah. Man. I need my cam up panel here with me who is going to hop on for this broadcast. All right. Make sure that y'all smash that like button. Make sure that y'all donate. All you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below the live chat box. If y'all have donated through Cash App or PayPal, just leave me a comment and let me know that you donated, so that way I can check my phone, see the donation, give you a shout out, and go from there. All right. So let's talk about this thing. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna start looking at these comments as I wait to see if somebody is going to get on the panel. Lupe says that's the goal, get paid while we sleep. Hey, listen, man, if we can cover our families without having to work, why wouldn't we? See, I'm all about working smarter, not harder. I'm not telling any of you guys to be lazy. I'm not telling any of you guys to not take care of your own. But what I'm saying is, guys, don't you want to enjoy a life where you don't spend every last waking minute working? Wouldn't it be so much better for you guys to get yourself into certain avenues where you grind for a certain period of time? And when you put in that work, you did it to create a foundation for you and your family for years to come. See, guys, can I be honest with you? That's a part of the reason why I became a best-selling author, because I wrote this book years ago. Check this out, guys. I'm showing you guys all the steps. I wrote this book, The How to Succeed Survival Guide, years ago while I was still in my 20s. And people still buy this book on a regular basis. For those of you guys that have not yet gotten your free copy, make sure that you check this out. Okay. The reason why I did this is so that I could work on something one time, but I could reap the benefits from this for years to come. This is how you create generational wealth. See, guys, when you work at your average jobs, you're only getting compensated for what you did right then in that moment. This is the reason why whenever you guys see me working, I'm typically working towards things that often provide residual value. So, for example, I'll do this broadcast today and I'll talk my head off, but people will watch broadcasts like this for years to come. You want to always get yourself into things where all you got to do is work on something one time and then the benefits will come time and time again. And I want to give a big shout out to my sis LA for life.
Another one.
You know I need the support as I'm rebuilding the broadcast during the day, sis. So I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat.
Another one.
You said, I know you're going to need to do a night show at least one time out of the week. You know what? That sounds like an idea for sure, because, you know, I feel bad leaving my brother Yasha Allah behind. I don't know if he's able to make these shows. Y'all know him, Ariel, and others were so dedicated to that nighttime slot. But y'all, I've just been trying to look for ways to make the show better. Okay, guys. So definitely let me know how y'all are feeling about the daytime slot. And as you can see, also LA for life, this also allows us to get some people who could not do the nighttime show. So yeah, I might end up doing a nighttime slot. We'll see. We'll see. Because Lord knows, man, I need to get folks back on this panel. I don't want to be on here talking the entire time. I do want to get y'all's thoughts and feedback. That's the reason why I want y'all to cam up. I am putting the link in the comments below. Cam up, y'all, cam up. Let me know y'all's thoughts, okay? Listen, guys, I thank you so much, as always, for all of your support. For those of y'all that are looking to take things to the next level in getting so much value through these shows, y'all need to join your breakthrough year. Your breakthrough year is my 12-month exclusive coaching program where I walk you through how to manage your time, your money, and your energy. Guys, this breakthrough year program is one of the best packages that I have put together, because in this program, I'm showing you guys how the world's top performers manage their day to get world-class results. So if you guys want to know further details about how I was able to pay off my $95,000 in debt 2 years after graduating from college, then turned back around and became a real estate investor and best-selling author, you guys need to join your breakthrough year, because in that program, I'm giving you guys the step-by-step process on the mindset and the productivity secrets that I and so many other high performers use to get maximum results out of life. As you guys can see, I'm still a very young man, but I've been very blessed to be able to have over $1 million worth of real estate in my early 30s. So guys, if you want to know how I was able to accomplish all of these things in such a short amount of time, you need to get in your breakthrough year, because this shows you how to have the most productive year of your life. In this program, I'm showing you guys how to get more things done in a week than most people get done in an entire month. I'm walking you through the step-by-step process on how to reach your biggest goals. I've got multiple clients who have gone through this program who have paid off tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. I've got clients who have made 5-figure salary increases off of this program. Some of you guys watched my show last week and heard about somebody named A. Diamond who worked at a job for the past 10 years and only got their promotion once they went through the program. Okay, guys? So there's so many things to uncover. And just as a way of making it easy to join, I'm making it free for you guys to join for the first 14 days. So when you guys join this program, you're going to have access to your breakthrough year on a free 14-day trial. Check it out. See if you like it. And hey, if it's not a good fit, you can always get out. No questions asked. All right. So I'm going to give you guys the link to that. Listen, man, make sure that y'all continue to sponsor this broadcast. Make sure that y'all continue to show love and show support. Tia to you said shoveling snow, but I'm still listening. Where you at, Tia to you? Where you coming out of? Right now in Texas, we didn't got a little bit of snow. It has gotten very cold. There was an ice storm that came here overnight. So listen, we just been staying in the house. We just been keeping warm. And I pray that all of y'all are safe wherever you are. LA for Life says, absolutely understood. Keep it going. Just a suggestion so we stay connected. I got to get back to work. Thank you so much for your support. Shout out to LA for Life once again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Thank y'all for the support as always. Listen, man, thank you so much for tuning in once again to the Generational Wealth Podcast. This show is dedicated to helping you guys finally escape the rat race so that you can start to live life on your own terms. If you guys love this show, make sure that you donate. You can still support this broadcast. All you got to do is click the links in the description below. Even if you watch this after the live stream is over, you can still support. All you got to do is go to the description. Guys, please make sure that you smash that thumbs up button if you've yet to do so. It only takes a second and it's totally free, but it goes a really long way towards growing this channel. I need y'all support. I need y'all's sponsorships. Thank you for helping to keep this show going. Please make sure that you be your brother's keeper and share these broadcasts. Okay, do not keep this generational wealth community a secret. Make sure that y'all subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I do another show. And I hope to see you guys soon again on the next broadcast. Until then, y'all stay focused. I love y'all. Keep pushing. See y'all on the next episode.